Okay, you hear me? Your mic is off. As soon as this countdown, we're at 45 seconds, we'll be live.
Can you hear me?
I hear you now.
Excellent.
Okay, let's see. We are talking about breaking the cycle of brokenness. Listen, we're going live in about 15 seconds through StreamYard, and we'll be here for a bit. And then follow me on YouTube, Dr. Carla J. Cook. So get ready to listen in. Hello and good evening to all of the listening audience. And Elson, of course, hello, and how are you tonight?
Excellent. Excellent, Dr. Carla. Excellent. Glad to be here with you.
It's always good. It's always good when we get together, always a pleasure. And tonight we are back again and we are talking about breaking the cycle of brokenness. And this is the But I'm Fine edition. That's what we're talking about. I'm fine. And part of what we really wanted to discuss tonight is who is this conversation for? And, I was thinking a little bit about the fact that this really is for everyone. And sometimes we look at the title of things and we make decisions about, is this for me or is this not for me? And one of the things that I was really thinking about in terms of breaking the cycle of brokenness and why it relates to, people in general is because we always want to go higher. We always want to evolve. We don't want to stay where we are. We have purpose. We have, families that we are, want to leave an inheritance to, not just of wealth, not just of money, but that inheritance of, healed people so that they can go on and do amazing, great things. And the reality is that we have to stay in spaces that challenge us to continue to look at ourselves, if that makes sense, right? I was thinking I had gone to an aquarium for it was like an aquarium restaurant. And so I was with a woman and we were kind of looking at their aquarium and we were looking at all of the fish. And then there was a shark in there. And she was like, wow, that shark is really little. And so then we had this whole conversation about the fact that, well, the shark can only grow as big as its environment.
Hmm.
And we have the capacity to grow personally, to grow individually, to grow mentally and emotionally. But it also, we can only grow to the capacity of our limitations. And so when we take the limitations off, we are going to get better. We're going to develop more. We're going to be bigger. And so that's really why this conversation is for everyone. So, uh, as I talk about that, what are your thoughts?
You- I'll be honest with you, Dr. Carla. It reminds me of being at work in sales because the moment that you walk through the door and somebody feels that you're a salesperson, they say, "Oh, I'm good. I'm good." Good
Wow.
with what? I didn't even ask for anything. I didn't ask you to buy anything. I didn't. But yet, when just the presence sometimes tells on yourself because you said, "Well, I'm good." But good about what? We hadn't even had a conversation. And so that's number one. Have you even had a conversation before you go into a denial state? And then another thing is, right as you get ready to leave, then they say, well, I could use your help. Well, but I didn't try to offer anything. I didn't sell anything. So literally what people are really saying is, I want your help. I need your help. And this is for me. I just don't want you to know it. And I don't want you to tell me that I need it. So it's quite simple. I get it. Many times we think, we have it all together, and we want others to think so. Now, another thing that you brought up, Dr. Carla, is that we want to leave an inheritance. What reality is, there are some bad things that you already inherited, and some of you know what it is, and then some of you still trying to figure it out and saying, well, I don't know why I'm this way. I don't know why I act this way. I don't even know why I get the results that I get. All you know is you want something different. Well, it's okay. So, I would say, yes, Dr. Carla, this is for everybody, but I would also tell the audience, hey, first, just calm down. It's okay. Just take a listen for a while, because I promise you, you're in good company. After all, you are with Dr. Carla Cook. So, Dr. Carla Cook, go ahead and lead us on just a little bit further, because reality is a lot of us are functioning, and I would even call it high functioning in some things that we've been denying for a long time. What do you say?
Well, I want to talk more about that. I also think, just what you were talking about, and we're talking about, you talked about in sales very often, it's kind of like you get stopped right at the door, like, I'm okay.
Mm-hmm.
And it made me think about, we have a human tendency very often to evaluate ourselves in a way that's very favorable. And this is not to suggest that we should look down on ourselves, or that we shouldn't identify our strengths, and that we shouldn't walk in our greatness, and all of that. It's just that there has to also be some caution and some reality check for ourselves, that doesn't again limit us, that doesn't take us to the ceiling, because we have already decided that I'm good, I'm fine, right? What the title of this is. And so I really encourage anyone and everyone listening in to just press in, to just push in, to just remind ourselves, even for you and I, that our goal is to get better. Our goal is to go higher. Our goal is to continually do the personal development, so that we can break these cycles of brokenness. So,
Absolutely.
yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. And Dr. Carla, one of our favorite mentors, Dr. Delatoro McNeil, always says, just get 1% better. But here's the key. Here's the key to getting better. You have to first understand where you are.
Mm.
So you know that you are getting better, but getting better at what? And then if you know where you are, then as you're increasing, whether it's 1%, 2%, the fact that you're just getting better, you realize you're getting better because now you've identified where you are now, so you can come from where you are and go up higher. So you've already said it. We do want to get better. So let's just see where we are right now, so we can grow, so we can evolve, so we can edify ourselves. Because as we do that for ourselves, we're able to help others as well. It's not just about us. Remember, Dr. Carter, you said heal people, heal people. But if you're broken, you won't help them. All right. Come on, back to you.
I love everything you said. And I was thinking about the fact that, how do we begin to evaluate ourselves through a lens that's honest, right? Being able to look at our strengths,
Mm-hmm.
and then being able to look at, there are some aspects or some areas that I want to continue to challenge myself. I want to continue to just take a look at what needs to be done for me to begin to break out of, again, I'm going to use the word limitations. That just kind of keeps coming back to me. And the fact that, yes, I'm functioning, and I'm doing well. I may be in business, I may be an entrepreneur, I may be an executive, I may have leadership qualities and even titles, I may have degrees, like I have everything in my pocket. Yet in addition to that, I'm not really showing up for myself. I'm not consistent. I'm mistrustful. Like when we begin to start to tick off some of the boxes that really show us, wow, okay, yes, I am all of this, but there are still parts of me that are not functional. And this is what we mean by brokenness, right? There's aspects of us. And I think sometimes when people hear that, they hear it through a negative lens. And perhaps the word itself, it engenders that you have to, right, accept this terminology that I really don't want to get with that. I don't want to see myself that way. I don't experience myself that way. But at the same time, it forces us to go in and lean into the honesty, right? Where am I? What are the things that are happening in my life that really are not a reflection of my title, of my status, of my, this and that my title, the roles that I play in my life, and how do I begin to shift the trajectory of some of those things?
Absolutely. You know, I would even say, especially to our audience, let's kind of shift the phrase just a little bit.
Mm,
Because I want to encourage you to let you know you are really great. You have so many great things that are occurring for you right now. The thing about it is you want to go to a higher place. And in order to do that, we just have to have a couple of check marks and say, you know what? We won't be enslaved to fear, or
mm,
we won't be enslaved to circumstances. We won't be enslaved to situations. Now, what has caused us to be enslaved to fear, situations, and circumstances really some of our past experiences. And those past experiences really locked us into a cycle. And that's where those limitations come from, Dr. Carla, because we've had that experience and it was like, can I really go there? I really see myself here. And we find ourselves in a private bubble saying, I'm a dream again. But
mm,
it's time for us to have those dreams become realities. And in order to do that, there's some things that we really have to face. And the thing of it is, it's not as major as you think. There are little bit of things that if we learn how to, just like you said, go over those little check boxes and say, you know what, I can accomplish this. Again, that's that getting better. If I accomplish this, if I face this, if I address this, you know what? I found out that I can rise up a little bit, little by little, and then you'll find yourself even taking some quantum leaps because you made a
mm.
committed decision to break that cycle.
Quantum leaps. Yeah, just say that again, because who doesn't want to take the quantum leap, right? Who doesn't want to, be living their best life? We use that term a lot, but also we're living our best life from where we are currently. It doesn't mean we fully stepped into our best life because our best life is waiting for us.
Right.
Best life is on the other side of this moment, right? Our best life is on the other side of us addressing, like you said, those small aspects and tweaking them. And not only is it our best life for ourselves, but it is our best life for those that are around us. And it's the best life for us really leaving some impact in the world, but really moving in our purpose. And so that other people are lifted up, so that other people, as we are healed, that other people have this opportunity to heal as well.
Isn't it amazing that when we do make those leaps, whether they be small or whether they be quantum leaps, isn't it amazing that when we just glance back, that we even say to ourselves, man, I didn't even realize where I was. I
Mm.
didn't realize I was that low. But you know what? You also become excited because you say, just look what I've done. You know, just recently, I got a chance to mentor a young man. He had been on the side of no for so long.
Mm.
He had been on the side of no for
The
so
side
long. You
of no.
tried this, no. You go here, no. You trying again, no. He had heard no for so long that finally, when he got the yes, it's like it was a shock. And he
Mm.
tried to overdo it, and he didn't know that he could just walk in there gracefully. Oh, I'm on the other side of no. Now I get a chance to walk in the yes. Well, that's what we're doing right here. We're taking you from the side of no because you've been there so long. Unfortunately, sometimes we get used to it. It irritates us, and it's like a bad scratch. We just want to itch all the time. But But when we leave that no and get on the side of yes, did you know that we can walk in that yes zone gracefully? And
Mm.
that's really why we keep saying we want to get better. We want to be able to function on a higher plane. But it first starts with us identifying where we are, not being in denial, and then plunging forward.
Yes, I love that. I love how you talk about that, how you unfold that, and the example of the young man being on that side of no. And I started to think about very often, we don't know what we don't know, right? That's really what we've been talking about.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't necessarily come to our attention until we have that aha moment, until we have that epiphany. And then we look back and we're like, oh, wow, like that's where I was. And this is what I was missing. And these are the opportunities that I wasn't able to walk into. And so it really is staying connected to spaces, staying connected to opportunities that really begin to be the mirror for us to continue to look at ourselves. And I think about this initiative that we're doing as a mirror, to begin to look, and to begin to, it's kind of like if you look in the mirror and it's kind of like, oh, wow, I didn't realize I had food in my teeth. I didn't, I had dropped something on my clothes. My hair is out of place, like whatever it is. And then, it's an easy tweak. It's an easy fix, right? And so that's really what we want to be able to do. That's what we're doing. And we're going to actually even be stepping further in. We've been talking about over time breaking the cycle of brokenness, and we want to really walk people through the how to break the cycle of brokenness. So I really can't wait until people really tap into this masterclass that we are
Absolutely.
going to be doing, because I know the limitations are going to come off. There's going to be some freedom that's going to be available for people.
Absolutely. I applaud you. And I'm glad you brought that up, Dr. Carla, because that masterclass is really that environment where you can actually learn how to apply the principles. Principles are truths that if in those principles, actually, we do those truths and we do it well, then we find ourselves in better places, doing better things, and being skillful at getting better. And that's the key. Learn those skills, learn those principles that have been proven and that work. So we're not just guessing at what we're doing. We know what we're doing. Because once upon a time, you know what? I know what it's like. I was broken too, but I'm free and I'm happy. And that's what we want to get you. And guess what? We're still growing. So we didn't stop. We're
Right.
still growing. And we want to invite you to this masterclass because it will give you the environment, give you the support that you really need, and the know-how so you can go higher. Talk about it some more, Dr. Carl.
When you started talking about the skill, that really resonated with me. And it made me begin to think about the fact that so often, what I have experienced, especially when it comes to walking out this journey around mental wellness, is that sometimes there is a thought process that I have it already. Like, right, like I can do this. I've been doing this. I'm good. I'm fine, but I'm fine. Addition. And yes, you are. In addition to that, there are additional skill sets that can enhance even where we are. And it made me think about, I have a garden. I am new to gardening. This is really my second year of gardening. And I was at the garden today, and there's always a councilman from my town. Somehow we always end up in the garden together. And he's been phenomenal for me because every time I go, I learn something. Now I've researched gardening. I get it. Last year I had a successful crop. I was able to eat from my garden. My vegetables are growing nicely. But he is a master gardener. There are certain things that he'll say or he'll show me that I just did not know. And because I'm open to listening, I'm able to apply that to my gardening skills. And so I, use that analogy to suggest that, yeah, you have skills. Yes, you have the know-how. Yes, you haven't gotten to this place in life, without being able to navigate well. In addition to that, there is an opportunity to enhance. There's an opportunity to go further. There's an opportunity to get some nuggets, right, that are going to help you to show up in a way that looks different. It's new and it's improved for this season of life.
That's right. Although, Dr. Carla, you talking about that wonderful garden, it sure made me hungry for a
Are
moment.
you hungry?
But that's okay. But you know what? It also makes us have a hunger to go forward and do a lot of things better, especially when you're talking about growing in that skill set. So, which brings me to another point, Dr. Carla. I want people to also know it's okay. It's okay that you don't have to look at yourself as already being perfect.
Mm,
So many times we think we have to position ourselves as I had it all together already. I'm perfect. I don't want you to see my imperfection, but it's okay. That's why it's so important to come into an environment because we realize it's okay. We're not perfect, neither are you, but it's okay. And with that being said, now you actually let the guards down so you can actually soften the soil, so to speak, so the seeds can actually come in. So now we can have good growth, a nurturing growth. And when you allow it to come in and you're able to receive it, you'll protect that seed or the words or the skills that we're going to give you. You'll be able to receive it better and nurture it better, protect it better, and apply it
apply it.
because you're not having a false expectation. You have a good expectation. And here's even a larger key. You're in the mindset of learning. That's
Mhm.
that's one thing we miss. So we don't want to think that we've outgrown learning. We want to be in a position where we can always continue. The only way we can grow is to learn additional principles that will help activate. You see, one of the other things that kind of slows us up is that we're at a standstill. We never self-activate. And when
Wow.
we don't self-activate, what we're really doing is we're waiting on somebody else to come and do it for us. Even if it's in prayer or meditation, will somebody else come and do it for me? I'm waiting for it to drop out of the sky or come up through the chute or something. But no, as you are learning, it gives you that confidence to say, you know what, I can self-activate. I can activate and go forward. Now I'm participating in my own growth. I'm participating in my own breakthrough. I'm participating in breaking that cycle. Now, watch this. Now I am qualified to help someone else
Mm.
because I was willing to go through the process and embrace the process and learn something new. Now I have something better to offer.
Man, okay. You dropping nuggets, really. So powerful. One, I'll just pick up and piggyback on the learning aspect. And so often we talk about being lifelong learners, but how does that really show up?
Mm,
What are we really doing around being lifelong learners? And are we doing that in the various domains of life?
mm,
Are we neglecting any area of life, right, when it comes to that lifelong learning? And so I think that that's a key. And I love the activation, you know, because it makes me think about, I mean, even going back to the seed, that the seed lies dormant, but the seed has everything it needs
right.
contained within it.
Mm,
But when it's activated is when it starts to grow, when it
that's
starts
right.
to blossom. And I believe that there's some activation that is available for people who are going to plug in to this masterclass. And so the masterclass is Thursday, September 14th at 7 p.m. It's going to be private. It won't be streamed live, so that we can really have some, conversations, and so that we can really continue to drill down, go deeper, and really begin to look at, again, like the how. What are the steps? What are the strategies? What are the areas that I've identified that I can tweak, that I can lean further into, right? And so we have the masterclass, and not only do we have the masterclass, but right now we have the early bird special. And so there's a link right in the comments. You can plug right in and get involved. Well, wait, let me just back up. Look, because I'm doing multiple things. That's what happens. Multitasking. We gotta be laser focused. So anywho, I just dropped the link. I was doing. So I just dropped the link in the comments.
There
But
you go.
follow that link to register for the masterclass for only $50 right now at this time.
Hey, so let's have some more fun, Dr. Carla. Yeah, you see, we get a chance to have fun too. One of the things that we were talking about when you were talking about that seed,
Yes.
and now we can actually illustrate that right here in this masterclass, because we did talk about environment. Yeah, that seed has everything it needs to grow, but it still has to be planted in the right soil. So yeah, you've got everything you need to actually self-activate, explode, go to a new heights. But we want to make sure that you're getting the nourishment, getting the protection, getting the skills, getting the learning in the right environment. And we're going to help you do so. And once you take advantage of it, guess what? You're going to discover something really great. You're going to discover that you can become whoever you want to become. You can be what you want to be, and you can qualify yourself to be a greater help. Now, with that being said, I want to talk about qualification. When I say qualification, one of the reasons why we have this masterclass is because too many people hide behind false qualifications. Yes, we believe that healed people help heal people, but too often, too many broken people or unhealed people try to help others, and they do it because they're trying to hide behind their own pain. Well, you don't have to hide behind your own pain. You can be perfectly healed before you actually go out, whether it be taking a stage, taking an environment, taking a class, teaching a class. We want you get you together first. So, as Dr. Carla has mentioned several times throughout this conversation, this is for everybody. All right. Grow on the level that you want it. It's all relative. Okay. It means that there's a level of growth that you want to experience, just like the person that may be sitting next to you or across from you or down the street. Everybody wants to grow. Just pick your place so you'll know exactly how you want to get better, grow, and eventually help others. Back to you, Dr. Carla, because we're going to have a great time in this master class. And is it restricted by age? I don't think so. Come on, tell us about it.
It's not restricted by age. It's not restricted by gender. We want you to come and be in the room.
That's
The
right.
reality is that each of us, we learn from each other, and so there may be someone that's younger in the group that is speaking from their perspective, and it helps someone that's more seasoned, to be able to understand, wow, that's my child, or that's who I was, or that's still where I am, or to really be able to hear, like, wow, this is this strategy for this point in my life, but I can apply it now. So there's no restrictions. Come one, come all, come at different levels, as we've talked about the fact that this is for everyone. We're talking about being high functioning but still being able to benefit from this conversation. And so, yeah, it's an open invitation. I just want to double click one more time on the fact that this is for everyone. And I was thinking a little bit about as we're inviting you and as you are taking advantage of going to the link and just going ahead and register. And I do see some people that are on Instagram, and I'll make sure to drop that link there. I want to say hello to your queen, Deja, who's over here on Instagram. Um, and so one of the things I start to think about in terms of like brokenness, right, is there's this continuum that there is a place where we are just not functioning, right? We're just deplete. We're just broken. Our life is a mess, right? But then there's this other continuum, the other end of the continuum, where we are showing up, like we've talked about, where we, have the titles, we have the degree, we have the job, we have the life, we have the family. Yet there are pockets and aspects of life that need still to be tweaked, right? That we're not showing up for ourselves. We're not engaging in relationships, but based on, it could be a number of things. It could be fear, it could be feeling insecure, it could be mistrust, all of these areas. So there's from one end of the continuum to the other, right, and everything in between. And then within where people are on the continuum, then there are even levels within that. So this is why we say, come as you are, come where you are, and come with the expectation to grow, come with the expectation that I'm going to leave better, I'm going to leave stronger, I'm going to leave wiser, and I'm going to leave to be able to continue to lean into my legacy, right? To pass this on to those who are coming behind me, whether it be family members or whether it be, just others in the world, others that will be healed because I am healed.
One of the greatest impacts that we often see when we've helped people heal is their level of engagement. There's a difference in just being in proximity, just being around someone, just being in a geographical area versus that engagement, that when you learn how to engage by both listening and how to have proper conversation, not always trying to take over, but have effective listening as well as having an impactful conversation. And that is a result of self-healing. And that is one of the reasons why we come, because in order to grow your family, in order to grow in the marketplace, in order to grow just in society in general, you want to have powerful engagement. Now, you mentioned that earlier, Dr. Carla, but that impactful engagement really does come when we find ourselves in a healed place. And that's why, again, we stress so much of how we're looking forward to those that are coming to the master class, because it's going to actually teach them how to communicate in a different manner, a more positive manner. They'll even, here's what's going to, they'll even have better conversations with themselves.
Mm.
That's one of one of the greatest discoveries. I've even had some of my students come back and say, I even talk to myself better. That's
Yeah.
great. You're saying the right things. You know why? Because when you say the right things, all of a sudden you have a different perspective and you see differently, not only on the outside through our physical eyes, but you even see differently internally, and that it is displayed on the outside.
Wow. My goodness, Elson, you know what? I love that you talked about that. I just feel like we should leave that right there and just, you that are listening in, just marinate on that. The point about the communication and speaking to yourself and elevating what you say, because you are shifting how you experience yourself and how you experience things around you. Wow, I know we could go on, we could talk further. There's so much more to say. We've been on, just kind of talking about this for several um, sessions, several times that we have come. We've had a private conversation in a webinar. And now we are leaning into this master class, and we just don't want you to miss it.
We don't. We
So,
don't.
I mean, you can hear that there's so much more. We could talk for hours about this subject, but we want to do it now in this private space. We want to be in your ear, with a communication that really begins to shift the wiring, the neural networks, right, to be able to navigate life differently, higher. Um, and so I just want to leave it right there. I don't know if you have any final thought.
I do, Dr. Carla. I want to leave this final thought because of how we opened up and saying, "Who is this for?" And we saying, this is for you also. Well, here's a final thought, especially to mothers,
Mhm.
fathers, aunties. We often say, you know what? I'm gonna get my daughter involved in this, or I'm gonna get my son. But there are some things that they inherited from you, but they changed. Guess what? There are some things that you inherited also that you can change. Imagine this. Why don't you come together? You come up right along with your son, with your daughter, because what it's going to do is going to have a type of bond that you wouldn't even imagine unless you was really going after that impactful engagement, because it's going to help conversation. It's going to help you listen to yourself, to your son, to your daughter, but it's going to bring a whole new relationship, which that is a living legacy within itself. So I speak to the mothers, to the fathers, sons, daughters, nieces and nephews, aunties and uncles. This is for you. This is for everybody. Take advantage right now, the early bird special. Not just because it's early, because you want to take advantage and have impact and have some self activation right now. Okay, so that is my final thought, and I really look forward to partnering with you, seeing you in the master class, but most of all, watching you grow.
I love it. On that note, we are going to say goodnight. We look forward to seeing you on September 14th. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you like and share this. Let's not keep it to ourselves. Let's be those people that heal people. So, good night, and thank you again for being here and listening in.